To my audience, my name is Captain Bjarni Berg Elvason. I'm the captain on the flight to New York this morning from Keflavik, Iceland. And this is my first officer for the flight, Brynjar Ágúst Sigurðsson, and the cabin crew is here. We will brief them later, but first we're gonna go through the flight documents and check out the flight conditions and weather at our destination, New York Kennedy. But first of all, we check out when we have Atlantic crossing flight plan. What kind of flight plan it is? It's a ETOPS flight plan that is extended twin operations, and then we are allowed to fly 180 minutes on one engine. Sometimes on other destinations like Minneapolis, we are not on a ETOPS flight plan because it's very short between airports on en route. But this time we have a ETOPS flight plan, and I check all the details are right on here on the flight plan. We have a cargo of 7.6 tons, and that usually fish. That is fished here at the bay, and it's 36 hours later on the dish in New York. Most of our destinations in the States have about 10 tons of fish in each plane. But we check out which airplane we have today, and our alternate is Newark, and the takeoff weight is estimated 112 tons, and that's about 1,400 kilos under the max allowed taxi weight. Fuel required today is 28.2 tons, and with that burn of 22,500, and flight time 5 hours 49 minutes. We will start at flight level 340 and later climb to level 360, and quite soon before New York airspace they will take us down to 280, and normally we enter New York airspace at that flight level, and it's normally just prior Boston. Passengers today we have a total of let me see, 169, and we're gonna be joining NAT tracks here. I took a look at the chart, and there are a few NAT tracks, and NAT tracks are organized tracks from Europe to the States according to wind, and they change every day. So it's quite unusual that they lie here all the way up north where we are flying, but we're gonna join the most southernmost of these NAT tracks. So next thing we do is check out the weather, and ETOPS alternate for us today is Goose Bay, and other en route alternates are Bangor, and finally the JFK destination. The weather at destination New York. We're gonna land there at around midnight. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, UTC. For our period of time when we land, the forecast is northerly wind, scattered at 12,000, scattered at 25,000, so it's going to be very nice weather. Goose Bay. Hi. That's fairly good, but good enough. Newark is the same weather forecast as New York. Newburgh is second alternate, and that's brilliant weather there as well. And Keflavik Airport is showing southerly wind and showers of rain in the afternoon, and that's going to be our ETOPS alternate. Significant weather. We have a jet stream here on the southern port of Greenland, It might be light turbulence here. It's quite common when the warm and cold air meets together here. And that's area number 1, light to moderate. Er þið sáttur við þetta bara? No times we check out as well. There are some kinds of reconstruction going on at JFK, like usually at this time of the year, and one runway is closed until further notice. And that was issued yesterday. That's to left actually. So probably they're going to use northerly runway. So if we are lucky, cannot see for landing with a northerly wind. So there are a few ILS and runway 4 right out of service and taxiways. Yeah. Next thing we do is brief the cabin attendants regarding the flight conditions en route, and as before, we can expect turbulence over the southern point of Greenland, and it's just like you say it for every departure in Keflavik. Flight time is 5 hours 49 minutes, and weather conditions at New York, it's going to be a great day for shopping tomorrow. 30 degrees, sunny skies, and wind from the north. Any questions?
No, not for now. We don't have the information list yet, so we don't know anything yet about the cabin.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Inga.
Hi, my name is Ingun.
My name is Hildur.
My name is Dagny.
Hello, so now I'm going to take you through the pre-flight of the Boeing 757 and just follow me. So we start here at looking at the starting ports, and we're just looking at this, no, they're not blocked. Of course all the doors are closed, and we look at the nose gear, the struts and the condition on the tires, and then we look at the in the wheelway bay here and just see if everything is in order, and it's very good. Yes. So moving here in front of the aircraft, we are going to take a look at the P-dot tubes, and the same there, just see if it's any cover on it or blocked. So they are good. There is the TAP probe, measuring the temperature outside and also the static ports here. And also we're just looking at the fuselage, if there's any damage due to the equipment around the aircraft and things like that. And there we are looking at the status of the oxygen. It's green, so that's good. In front of the wings, and also the fan blades and the tube inside, and it's all good. Yeah. And all the doors are closed on the cowling of the engine, and there's nothing underneath the engine, no oil spill or nothing. And also here the condition of the leading edge of the wing. And the static. And here we're looking at the back of the engine. We're just looking at the reverse flow panels, so they are okay. And then we're here again, we are looking at the condition of the tires and also the brakes and all the hydraulic lines and everything, and the strut. Yeah, someone is here. And also here we're looking at if the pins are installed, and they are not. Generally, just the condition of everything here is in order and okay. And the ram turbine, this is where it comes down, and you just see this locked and in place. Same here, there's another static port there. And that it's not blocked, and there's no damage here on the fuselage. And then we come here in the back. Everything is in good condition here also. And here is the outflow valve. That's in order also. And here are also static ports, and they are not blocked. So we end now where we started, and the aircraft is in good shape, and we are happy about the condition of the aircraft. So now we go upstairs and prepare for the flight to JFK.
So now we are doing preparation for our takeoff, and all the systems are set up for the first part of the checklist, pre-flight checklist that we will read in a short moment. We have to check out the position of the aircraft, and also we have to check out the route to JFK and compare it to the flight plan if there are any errors in the flight plan. Initial position: north 6359.6, west 02237.4. And check the flight plan, route 84. And Bravo India Kilo Fox, KJFK, ISA 613, route 84. It's Flossie direct 64 north 30 west, 64 north 40 west, 62 north 50 west, Savory, Lompata, Cupis, Keflavik, JFK. And that gives us total distance of 2,350 nautical miles.
2,409.
Yes.
All correct.
Pre-flight checklist, please.
Gear pits are stowed. EFI switch is on. Oxygen interphone
100% checked.
checked. My side. Altimeter instruments.
Set and cross-checked.
Parking brake.
Set.
Fuel control switches.
Cut off.
Pre-flight check is complete.
Jolly good. Next thing, we are waiting for the load sheet, and then we can do the performance calculations for the runway we're going to use. We're going to use runway 20 this morning, and we will take a right turn on to a radial of 292 towards eastern coast of Greenland,
and we will climb to altitude of 34,000 feet.
So what we have here is the computer that calculates for us the takeoff performance, and what we put in the computer is the what aircraft it is, the flight number and the airport, and then we get the selection of the runways we want to use. And here we can put the condition on the runway, dry or wet or contaminated. And we put the wind here, and here you can see the headwind and the crosswind for that particular runway. The outside temperature and the QNH, the air pressure outside, and the takeoff weight, and the center of gravity of the aircraft. Now we have the optimum flaps, so the computer will give us the flap setting we should use. And we can put anti-ice here and all kinds of setup for the aircraft. Or if something is, we have a failure of some things like the brakes or speed brake or something, we would put that in there, and it would change the performance of the aircraft. So you can see that this is the takeoff weight, and it gives us the V1 rotator, V2 airspeeds, the flaps, and here also gear up and in clean speed, and the thrust of EPR here also. And this is the stop trim or the stabilizer in the back of the aircraft, what position it would be put in. Acceleration altitude, it's if we have an engine failure, and also an engine failure procedure for that runway. So here would say that right turn to a fix is it's called the VACLO, and this is the holding, the inbound heading for the holding, and right turns. So it would be a standard holding. And here you can see the stop margin for that condition. That if you would have an engine failure at the most critical point on the runway and abort the takeoff, then we would have 315 meters left of the runway.
And now it's time for our emergency briefings that we do for every departure. Even though I only flew 4 engine aircraft for 1 year, and I had 1 engine failure. I've been flying this one for 19 and never had one. But nevertheless, we do emergency briefing prior our departure every time. And are you ready for departure briefing?
Yes.
In case of any malfunction, unusual noise or vibration before 80 knots, I call abort, thrust lever closed, speed brake, max reverse, I monitor RTO, you monitor my actions. You call me 60 knots and then from ATC. When the airplane has come to a complete stop, parking brake set, and we evaluate the situation. In case of evacuation, it's not needed. I go on the PA and say, remain seated, this is your commander. Haldi hér yfir sæti the flugstjóri, 3 times in each language. After 80 knots, we are only to abort for warning, unusual noise or vibration. Same drill, thrust lever close, speed brake, max reverse, I monitor RTO. You monitor my actions, call me 60 knots and then from ATC. When the airplane has come to a complete stop, parking brake set, and we evaluate the situation. In case of engine fire, we consider to point the noise of the aircraft up to the wind, that is 210 degrees, 13 knots. And we do our necessary action, our throttle arm sits off, closed. We cut off the fuel control, pull up the levers, and shoot on the respective engine, time for 1 second, and then we shoot the fire bottle on the second. In case of, we call for the evacuation checklist, and we go through that, and your duties are
Put this on the manual and open the outflow valve, and then I notify the tower that we are evacuating the aircraft.
We go through the evacuation checklist, and I go to the PA afterwards, and I say, this is your commander, open seatbelt and get out. Lazy side disbelti og farið út. 3 times in each language. I take charge of the evacuation, and your duties are front doors.
Yes.
Boarding completed, jolly good. I will talk to the passenger next.
Start APU.
Start APU, please. Góðan dag, góðir farþegar, velkomin á borð, flugstjórinn ykkar. Við erum rétt að vera tilbúin til brottfarar. Verið að ljúka við hleðslu vélarinnar og flugtak í dag verður til suðurs. Hægri beygju á Stefnum til vesturs, austurstrand Grænlands, klifrum í 34.000 feta hæð og flugtími til New York í dag eru 5 klukkustundir og 50 mínútur. Þrjóðandi fínt veður í New York, það spáir hæglætis vindi frá norðri og heiðskýru veðri og hitinn verður 30 gráður þegar við lendum. Og áður við lækkum flugið þá færi ég ykkur nánari fréttir af veðri. Ég vil minna að það er góður siður að hafa beltin spennt á meðan sitið er og jafnvel þó sætisbeltaljósið sé slökkt. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain. My name is Bjarni Berg. We expect to be ready within a few minutes. They are just finishing loading of the aircraft. Departure will towards the south with a right turn on a westerly heading to eastern coast of Greenland. We will climb to altitude of 34,000 feet and flight time is 5 hours 50 minutes. Weather at JFK is going to be very nice when we land. Temperature around 30 degrees centigrade, wind from the north 5 knots and clear sky. I want to remind you all it's a good practice to have the seatbelt sign fastened while seated and even though the seatbelt sign is off. Thank you. So, how about the clearance, Clarence? Roger. It's nice when first officers know the jokes from airplane, because most of them don't. What's the vector, Victor? Roger.
Delivery Icelandair 613, stand 7, information whiskey. Requesting clearance to New York, John F. Kennedy.
Icelandair 613, góðan daginn, clear to John Kennedy via Flossi, 64030 west, 64040 west, 62050 west, Savory, flight 290, Mach decimal 79er, stroke 2445.
Okay, Icelandair 613 clear to New York, John F. Kennedy via Flossi, 64 north 30 west, 64 north 40 west, 62 north 50 west, Savory, flight level 290, Mach 700, squawk 2445, Icelandair 613.
Read back correct.
Tack.
So, pre-flight checklist to the line, please.
Passenger signs on, windows
Locked, left.
locked my side, MCP.
Set.
Fuel augment.
Checked.
Takeoff speeds
Set.
set my side. C2 pre-flight.
Set.
Trim.
4.5. 0.
Taxi and takeoff pick.
Taxi from stand 7 to November to holding point 20.
Start to the line complete.
Pushback clearance, please.
Ground Icelandair 613, stand 7, requesting push and start.
613, push start approach, gate 7.
Push and start approach to Icelandair 613.
And before start checklist below the line, please.
Mobile phones.
Off left.
Off right side. Cabin report.
Received.
Flight deck door.
Locked.
Transponder is on. Anti-collision light is on. Before start check is complete.
All right, permission to start engines.
Starting right and left. Start right engine, please.
Roger.
Start all open.
When the start valve opens, here, the rotation of the engine, N3, starts. The old pressure rises here, and then the second spool, it's 3-spool engine, N2, and finally N1. Here you can see the exhaust gas temperature, and it's way below now. And we put the fuel around control switch to run, and
Ground Delta 257.
ignites, and
257, go ahead.
Yeah, we're trying plan to push 10 early here, 10 minutes from now. Can we expect runway 20?
degrees
FM.
centigrade.
Thank you.
Start on close.
Start left engine, please.
Start all open.
Cockpit ground.
Go ahead.
Set parking brakes to on.
Parking brake set. Same thing happens on the engine, left engine. N3 starts to rotate, oil pressure started to rise, N2 spools up and N1 as well. We wait until N2 comes up to 10 and then the fuel control switch is put to run. Then it gets fuels and ignites.
Stopper closed.
I check out the engine instruments prior I close the lower ACAS. And before taxi procedure, APU off, engine anti-ice off. To normal stance, you can disconnect, give us a clear signal. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, have a safe flight.
So, after start, checklist please.
Oscar Echo India Romeo 0 for taxi.
APU is off, anti-ice off.
Oscar India Romeo 0 taxi.
Recall.
Checked.
Auto brakes.
Around the hangar, November 1, hold short 29er initially for 20.
Go ahead.
The hangar hold short for 20.
Clear on the
Oscar Echo
left.
India
Fair right.
Romeo 0.
Taxi taking is complete.
Do you have any tissue? I need to polarize my glasses. Taxi, please.
Ground dash is 613 taxi and runway 20.
613 taxi, hold short 20. Tower 83 approaching, that's go ahead.
Traffic holding point 20, approaching Tower 83, ice 613.
Flight 15, control check, please. Ready on the rudders?
Yep.
Right rudder. Left rudder. Captain, signal please, people takeoff checklist.
Tower ground is 613 approaching, holding point 20.
This is 613, Quebec Tower going back, land away, runway 20.
Land away, runway 20, is 613. Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
15.
Checked. Flight controls.
Checked.
Cockpit secure. Cockpit signal complete. Tikas and Tara. Pilot of stowed.
Stowed.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Clear left.
Clear right.
Line up and wait it is.
Cargo taken, Oscar Echo India Romeo on our way to runway 20.
Yeah, Oscar Echo India Romeo Sierra. Continue November, cross runway 29er, hold short runway 20.
November crossing to an approved, holding short 20, Oscar Echo India Romeo 0.
Taxi 613, airborne 19, 3, wind 190 at 15, runway 20, clear takeoff, go over.
Clear takeoff runway 20 and airport 93, tack very nice, 613.
Set thrust 1.62.
Thrust set. 80.
Check.
V1. Rotate. flight.
Get up, please. Hello. Contact departure.
Departure, good afternoon, Icelandair 613 passing 1,500 feet.
Icelandair 613, approach, good morning, identified, clear direct Flossie.
Direct Flossie, I said 613.
Direct Flossie, flaps 5. Flaps 1. Flaps up.
Clean aircraft.
Direct Flossie again.
Stein after Eagle 771, descending flight level 100, Delta. After Eagle 771, go on target identified. Split ILS 19, descent altitude 6,000 on 1014.
6,000.
Fleet altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1014, aspect ILS 19, Eagle 771.
Our complete after takeoff checklist with cabin lights to outer, please.
$10,000.
Lights off. We managed to do our pushback within 3 minutes of our scheduled departure time. That was fair. We arrived a bit late to the aircraft, and the final preparation was done quickly by our ground staff in Keflavik, and the aircraft had a very short turnaround time from Stockholm. But after pushback and engine start, we pushed from the terminal, and we're pointing the nose of the aircraft to east. We had a very short taxi time of 7 minutes. We were airborne 7 minutes after we released the brakes, and we are now at cruising altitude of 34,000 feet on course to southern point of Greenland. Our departure route took us through this point, Flossie, that is on radial 292, on the VOR from Keflavik to Flossie, and the next point after is 64 degrees north and 30 degrees west. But Icelandair has been operating out from Keflavik for 70 years now, and Reykjavik, and doing transatlantic flights for more than 55 years on regular basis. We got the 757 into service 1990. It has been in service with Icelandair now for 24 years. It has been a very reliable and good workhorse for our company, and Boeing has not still manufactured a substitute for the 757. And all new models coming onto the market today, airplanes, are flight tested in high winds in Keflavik due to good facility and good wind conditions normally. But we've been flight testing this aircraft for 24 years with good success, I presume. We have a number of destinations in the US. We are flying to all the way on the west coast from Vancouver to Denver, Seattle, Minneapolis, and covering most of the east coast from Boston to Orlando.
Roger, Roger. X for Iceland, backup is 4675.
4675 for backup. Delta November Mike 8411.
Iceland Liberty 01 position. Somebody please, Transat 325 Iceland radio.
I go out for 325.
Amended level clearance Reykjavik, Transat 325, climb to flight level 410.
Iceland Radio, Air Transat 325, level, flight level 410.
Go ahead.
Check the 64 north, 40 west at 1145, flight level 340, estimating 62 north, 50 west, 1223, next Savary.
Roger, have it okay. That's the boundary call candidate 864, backup 11279.
Okay, Lima 23. Indeed, we are CPDLC on sector Bravo, approaching 30 west, and Gander is next.
Roger, remain the frequency until around 35 west and check in with Gander.
Það boundaryð hérna, ég seti bara tíma á það, boundaryð hérna sem við tölum Gander.
Elegant.
Roger, remain this frequency until approximately 35 west, and Gander 11279, 8864.
Roger.
Thank you. Iceland Taxi 231, position.
Taxi 231, go.
Set Sapak 1151, flight level 2.
Iceland Radio, Singapore 62 on 12785. Singapore 62, I request the Gander frequency and position to switch over to Gander, Singapore 62. Singapore 62, switch over to Gander at 55 west. 128.075.
What I have done here is I have plotted the route from Keflavik to the US. And what we do on a regular basis is we check the position of the aircraft and see if that is on the line here. So that is to double check that we are flying our clear to the US. What I have also put here is the center ETOPS, or if you will, equal time point. So that is to increase our situational awareness. So if something happens before this equal time point, we would return to Keflavik, and after this equal time point, we would continue to Husby.
Obviously, he doesn't want to task. So in general, the whole idea with extended twin operation, when the 757 came to the market in 1984, Many of the old captains, they didn't want to take part of this terrible, dangerous twin operation on the Atlantic. And I heard a number of stories that old captains took early retirement before the twin jet age on the Atlantic. But every day, thousands of twin aircrafts are operated under extended twin operation or ETOPS rules. Icelandair has the certificate to operate 180 minutes on one engine, and there are strict rules regarding the operation of a twin aircraft under these rules, and each operator gets more time after longer periods with the aircraft in service. But you can see on the plotting charts they have 400-mile circles around the most common ETOPS airports in our operation, and if they are not overlapping each other, we have to fly ETOPS routes. And that's exactly what we do here when we fly from Keflavik to Goose Bay, and there's a gap here between those two. Technically, we could have flown this non-ETOPS, but then we would have been a little bit more north. We are just 150 kilometers north of Simotak on the western coast of Greenland. We are just in contact with Canada. We are radar identified. We are climbing to our cruising altitude for the next 2 hours, 36,000 feet. And we managed to have a shortcut to a point called Cubis that is not far from our destination, New York. And after we reach 36,000 feet, we can fly direct to that point. VLAN and direct to Cubis is executed.
Checked.
This is the traffic that was delaying our turn to Cubis. That's an Aeroflot 104 that has been behind us over the Atlantic. Okay, I will try to explain the instruments and the systems on the 757-200 we are flying. Icelandair has all of their fleet powered by Rolls-Royce engine, RB211, well known, and we have very good experience with that engine. I've already turned control over to the first officer, and we can start to go through the panel from here to here. And the magic number for all important systems on Boeing aircraft is you have 3 of everything. That's the main design criteria for Boeing twin aircraft. So if we start here on the left-hand side, we have flight directors, and this is the standard type of flight instruments. We have a new set of instruments, liquid crystal displays that are totally different from this aircraft. And then the airspeed indicator is gone, and we have a total different layout on the panel. But this one has the same panel as the aircraft that rolled out from the Boeing factory for the first prototype in 1984. But of course this one is much newer. But here we have flight directors. You can switch from to 3 different sources, and this is the flight director. It's on the primary instrument. electronic attitude display is that one called. And here we have flight management computer. We only have 2 of them, but in previous days it was not even fitted in older models of jet aircraft. Here we have instrument switches that we can switch to alternate if something fails. We have an airspeed indicator that is showing 80% of the speed of sound, or Mach 80, and we also have indicated airspeed in knots, 264. Here we have ADF, or automatic direction finder. Young pilots, they don't even know it exists anymore, but it's still here with us, and we use it not so often. We have a terrain warning system that gives us highest and highest peak of terrain in our selected range area. And also we have the weather radar here that gives us indication if there are any thunderstorms or turbulences ahead. Here we have a flight annunciation panel. It shows we are connected to the automation flight to speed, and we are flying VNAV path, or vertical navigation path, lateral navigation, or LNAV, more common term, and we see that one of the autopilots are engaged. Here we can see our radio altimeter is selected on 200 feet radio altimeter, and here we have a speed tape and speed over ground, 385 knots. Here we have our route and vital information like next airport suitable for the 757 with 2,000 meter runway or longer is Goose Bay on the left-hand side. Or we can check out the distance to it, and that's 139 miles from Goose Bay. Of course, we have the compass rose and the heading selector here. We can see all the traffic on this display as well, and we still have this Russian aircraft probably coming, flying a little bit faster than we. We will see him in a few minutes. Here we have an altimeter. Here we can check if the aircraft is suitable for auto land. If something is wrong in the system, we get no auto land flag on this display here. On this little sign here, we can see the registration of the aircraft: Tango Foxtrot Fox India Tango. And the cell code for the aircraft is Hotel Papa Charlie Fox. Of course, we have altitude indicator, vertical speed indicator that is connected to the IRSs, or clock, old-fashioned clock. And standby instruments are in one row here on this aircraft. Normally we have it in one display, but this is exactly how the airplane was manufactured. Standby horizon, and we can select approach mode on that one, speed indicator, and an extra altimeter. We also have a selection for reserve brakes if the normal brakes fail. Yeah, here we have a standby engine indicator that is picking up the same information as the engine parameters here on the ACAS, and this comes automatically on when we lose all electrical power on the aircraft. Here we have the selection of brakes, and Max Auto is the maximum auto brake capability. We also selected prior our departure to the selection RTO, you can see there, and that means rejected takeoff position. Here we have ACAS, or here we get all the failures possible on this aircraft. We have 400 monitors on the systems, and if something fails in the aircraft, it pops up on the screen. It's a little bit different from later models, where there are no schematics, and we still have QR8, or quick reference handbook, to deal with situations that appear on that screen. Luckily, we don't have any message on that screen. On this screen, the lower ACAS, you can see the rest of the engine instruments. Here we can see the EPA, or exhaust pressure ratio, and that's measured from the front of the engine to the back, and it measures the difference. And one is here, measuring the rotation of the first spool of the engine, or the fan, and it's the RB211, or Rolls-Royce RB211 is a 3-spool engine, or with 3 different rotating parts in the engine. Here we can see the exhaust gas temperature from the engine, and it's currently 620 degrees. And the red line lies at 850 degrees, and that's the maximum ETT tested or certified for this engine. The second spool is at 83%, and N3, that powers most of the components like pressurization and flight electrical generator is connected to the N3 as well. So that's quite a vital gearbox that is connected to the N3 section of the engine. We can see the fuel flow here in kilos, and that's 1800 on the left engine and 1600 on the right engine, and it's quite unusual to see how much different, as much difference as on this aircraft, but it seems quite equal adjusted, the throttles here, that are the engine controls. Here we can see the oil pressure on left engine and right engine, the oil temperature as well here, oil quantity, and normally it shows 17 on the left hand side and 20 on the right hand side, and that's due to the same kinds of engines, and they lie in different directions. We can see the vibration level in the hot section, or at this, on this engine is 1.3 and 0.7 on N3 parameter. Here we can switch over to another page, and then we see the position of flight controls, the rudder, elevator, aileron, and left aileron. We can also monitor the brake temperature after landing, and we also see the status on the hydraulic system. We have 3 hydraulic systems, left, center, and right. And this is the quantity. It's 98% full, 99%, and this one is full. Hydraulic pressure on each system is 3,000 to 3,300. The auxiliary power unit, or the APU, the one extra engine we have in the back to produce electricity in the air and on the ground, and also pneumatic sorts. We see it here, all the RPM and oil level, and we have oil quantity full, and this is the RPM. Of course it's turned off, so we can see 0 here. We have a special oxygen bottle for the crew here in the front, 1630 psi, and we have to make sure it's, when we have two in the cockpit for a flight like this to New York, it's not below 800 psi. So we are well off over that level, and probably it's a new bottle. Here we have just a few switches to switch between pages here, and to change computers left and right, and that's about it. And also we have this probably the only TV screen in the cockpit, and that's to check out who is coming in, and that was a requirement after the September 9/11 to reinforce the cockpit door and put in cameras in the cockpit to avoid people that want to visit the cockpit in another purpose than visiting us in speed brake is used in the air to reduce altitude. We can raise it up to 50% or full, and we also arm it prior to landing. And then we have automatic deploy during the landing when both landing gear struts are safely on the ground. Here we have two throttles for left and right engine. We have switches here. We press during go-around, and then the throttle goes forward, and we do our go-around procedure. Flaps go up to 20, and when we climb, positive climb, we take up the landing gear. But here in the front of the throttle we have reversers that help us to stop the aircraft after the landing, and we deploy the reversers immediately after the nose gear is down, and use it to slow the aircraft down to save brake wear and tear. Here we have the trim switches, and this is normally done in the steering wheel, but we have an alternate function here. Here we have the parking brake, and these switches is to cut out if we feel any uncertain or unscheduled movement of trim. And here we have the trim indicators, and we can see the stabilizer trim is at 5 units, and it's quite common during the longer we go into the flight, it goes more aft. On this display here we can select the radio altimeter up and down for the purpose we are using it for. We can select the weather radar and also various functions for these instruments here, and sometimes we have these ROS and ILS display during approach. Here we have the range for the Mach display. Now I've selected 10 miles range, and I can go up to 320 miles on this aircraft. But on the newer version of the displays it's 740. Here we have all the necessary controls for the weather radar. For a departure we select 4 degrees up, and stabilizer on, that then it adjusted from the body angle, so we always have the right radar beam in front of us. Weather and turbulent mode is quite common to use, and this control here shows goes, it's on auto, so it's measuring the normal grain or rain pellet. I don't recall which diameter it is, but it stands somewhere in the manual for the radar. Here we have the VHF radio, or very high frequency radio. We have two of them in this aircraft. One is selected on gander control at the moment, 127.675, and the other one is on 1215, that is emergency frequency, to monitor other aircrafts and traffic on sea as well. That transmits maydays on 121.5. On this box here we can select between different radios. If we are doing, like here, we are talking to gander, I have left VHF selected. If I would be transmitting out on 121.5, it would be right VHF. Center VHF is connected to the ACAS here, and then we have for all the other instruments like ILS, we have 3 monitors, 2 for the VORs, 2 for the AGFs, and then if I want to speak to the passengers, I press public address, or with the mechanic outside pushing us back is interphone. Here we have 2 ultra-high frequency radios, left and right, and that's what we mainly use during our transatlantic crossing. Here we have box to select the frequency for ATFs, or automatic direction finder. And here's controls for the camera. And here we have all testing equipment for the fire equipment. That's things we normally don't touch. I can put the lights on test. Here we have fuel valve, engine valve, lights, spar valve, and fuel control switches. The fuel control switches are turned on by taking it up from this position up to run. But if it's EGT is showing 0 degrees or less, we put it in RITS. It's giving a little bit more fuel than normally, and when the engine warms up during cold weather operation, we put it back to run, and then we continue flying. Here we can see how many fire extinguish bottles we have. We have 2, and we also have indicators if in case the engine will overheat, and also on the ACAS. Here we have the fire handle, and it turns red in case of engine fire, and the respective engine turns red. And here we would have a right engine followed by a ringing bell, red light blinking, and the procedure is to pull it up, shoot on the respective engine. We do timing for 30 seconds, and if the fire light doesn't extinguish, we empty the other bottle. It also disconnected all vital things that is connected to the gearbox I mentioned earlier, the entry, like hydraulics, arms the fire squibs, and depressurizes the pumps, takes off the fuel to the engine and the bleed as well. Here we have the transponder, and that's the primary thing that the air traffic control sees. Is this number here, 6310. If we would have an emergency of any kind, we would put 7700, and that gives air traffic control the signal that we are in distress, then the normal procedure for us is to transmit Mayday 3 times. Here we have a control frequency box for the ILS, or Instrument Landing System, and this is the display for the rudder system and the control for the rudder trim. This is the same as I explained before, the radio and the radio box. We have 2 fire cargo bottles for the cargo holds, and this is where we arm and shoot them into the cargo holds, and then we have to select which cargo hold we want to shoot into. If we would be having a red light here in the forward cargo hold, we would arm that switch and shoot 1 bottle, and our procedures say prior landing we should empty the next bottle. This is the flap handle, and we have flap selection up to 30. Normal for single engine approaches we only use flaps 20, so we are capable of going around, and normal takeoff position for flaps is 5 to 15. Here we have the flaps indicator, and it can show values from 1 to 30. You can see on the handle here it's shaped like an airfoil, and that's to help us to recognize the right things in case of dark smoke or in total darkness. You can also see the wheel here, and that it is the symbol for the landing gear. It has 3 selections: up, and down. And here we can see all the warning lights, doors, wheel well fire, and brake temperature associated with the landing gear. In case we have to lower the gear by alternate methods, we open this switch here that is guarded, and we can only select this once, and we cannot retract the gear. So it's a 1 selection only switch. Below that we have ground prox flap override switch and ground prox gear override switches. That's due to the fact that the warning systems, in case we have not lowered gear below 1500 feet, or we have landing flaps later on in the approach, we are not getting warning signals in case of any emergencies. So we can disconnect that function over there. And if you could point out the brake pressure for me, that's there. It's showing 3000 psi, more or less the same as pressure as on the right hydraulic system. And the instruments on the right hand side have totally a copy of what I mentioned before on the left hand side. But now we can move up to the overhead panel. Here we have the IRS and IRSs actually. We have my personal thing is I always have present position. This plate here, because I like to know where I'm located. But you also have other selections like wind, heading of the aircraft, that is 207 degrees, and also true track and ground speed. And that's at the moment 413 knots. We have 3 different units for navigation, and they are interconnected to compare the position of the aircraft. It's required to have this on the aircraft in case they turn off the GPS system, so we can find our way around the world. We also have 3 GPS in the aircraft, and we have a multi-mode receiver that takes all this information and gathers it into our flight management computer. So we have a pretty accurate position all the time, and that's a plus for the pilots. Here we have yaw dampers, and this is equipment to reduce the yaw of the aircraft, so it gives a more comfortable ride. It's okay if they fail, as we are only limited on crosswinds. Here we have engine EC, electrical engine control, that is controlling the engine, so we will not exceed any limits, and this is associated with engine limiters located on the center panel, and I will show you later. Now we are down to the hydraulic pumps. We have 4 electrical hydraulic pumps on the 757 and 2 engine-driven pumps. You can see this line between on the panel, and that shows us we can see overheat on each system. We can see if we lose the pressure or the reservoir is empty. Here we have the left hydraulic system, and this is the engine-driven pump, and this is the electrical-driven pump. On the center system, we have 2 electrical-driven pumps, and on the right system we have 1 engine-driven pump from the right engine and 1 extra electrical pump. This is producing up to 3,000 psi pressure on each system, a little bit more than 3,000 pounds. Turning off the center pumps. Up here we have a panel that shows all kinds of warning lights, everything from doors to pitot heat and auto speed brake and lavatory smoke and unscheduled stop trim. We get indication there. Here we have HF radio, or we use on during Atlantic crossing to contact long distance radio calls, and the VHF is normal range of the VHF radio is about 200 miles. So if we are transmitting longer distance than 200 miles, we have to use the HF. Now we are at the electrical part here, and this is the same schematic as on the hydraulic part. We can see how every system is isolated, and Also, we have 3 sources on the electrical panel. This is the standby power switch. We have it on automatic at the moment. We could select it to battery only or off, and then we turn all the instruments off on the aircraft. This is the battery button. It's guarded and it's always on during operation, but on the ground we turn it off prior we leave the aircraft. This aircraft has, if we would lose both generators, all generators, we could fly the aircraft for 90 minutes, and some of our aircraft have a range of 30 minutes in case of all 3 generators are lost. Here we have the APU generators we can use in the air as well. We have the external power that after landing it's connected, and then we get electricity from ground equipment. We have the bus type switches here that connects into each respective AC bus, and here we have control for the generators. We have one on each engine, left generator and right generator, and also we have one APU generator, and they are all the same, producing the same electricity. Here we have the utility bus that is powering all the equipment in the passenger side of the aircraft, and that's powering all coffee heaters, heater for the toilets, entertainment system, and lights in the ceiling, and so forth. Here we have 2 switches that are sealed and guarded, and that's in case if you need to disconnect the generator drive that is connected to the N3 section of the engine. The APU is control panel is here. It has an off, on and start position, and also it has a fault light here and run light. Fault light is in case the APU is not working, and if normal operation we get the run light on this light here. This is the cockpit voice recorder. It's recording all the time after we start the engines, and this is connected to the cockpit monitor, or the black box as well, and it stores all the communication in the aircraft with the ATC and in the cockpit as well. Here we can control the panel lights, and here we have lights for turn off, taxi and turn off lights. This is 2 buttons are the landing lights, and this is light on the nose gear. And it has different shape for us to recognize what kind of lights we are selecting. Up here we have a ELT remote controller. It's not in all our aircraft. I think this is only one. And here we have the emergency lights that illuminates during emergency automatically. And it's on the exterior of the aircraft and on the inside in the floor as well, and guides the passengers out in case of a emergency. Here we have the passenger oxy manual button. Normally the oxygen masks in the passenger area go down at cabin altitude of 14,000 feet. But we can also select the oxygen masks manually down in case that is not working properly. We have a ram air turbine under the aircraft that in case of we lose all hydraulic power, it drops automatically and helps us to control the aircraft with reasonable maneuverability. So if all hydraulic power is lost, this ram air turbine drops down and starts to produce hydraulic pressure. I mentioned two of these switches before, left engine limiters, and they are in cooperation with the electrical engine control, provides protection on the engines that we won't overboost them. Here we have the engine start part of the panel. We have two igniters on each engine. We test them because we need two for all ETOPS flights. So we rotate this from 1 to 2 every each sector. But also we can select both in some cases. Here is the ground starter selector. When we start the engines, we put the starter selector into ground, and when the engine has started, it comes to auto, and we can select it off as well, and also it's connected with igniters, continuous ignition, and in flight mode. This is just a copy of same thing for the right engine. Fuel pumps, we have 6 of them, or actually we have 8 of them. We have engine pumps as well, and we have 6 electrical pumps. We have 2 crossfeed valves here, and we check them on regular basis. And this is for the left engine, this is for the right engine, and this is for the center tank. I've never tried it, but I've been told that engine pumps can do a proper suction for the fuel even though all the electrical pumps are off. Here we have a fuel quantity panel. We can read the total fuel on the aircraft. At this time it's 12,800 kilos. And we have emptied the center tank that is showing 0 at this time. We have 6,400 kilos in the left tank and 6,400 in the right. We can also see the fuel temperature here, minus 12 degrees centigrade in the fuel tanks. Now we are down to the anti-ice panel. We have can select engine anti-ice. The nacelle is warmed up on the engine, and also we have wing anti-ice for the leading edge of the wing, and we pump warm air into the leading edge, and it stops pumping warm air into the wing when we are on the ground, and it's connected with the landing gear sensors. Here we have a system that is operative. We don't need it, so our maintenance department has disconnected it, and it's rain repellent remover, rain repellent fluid that was in the aircraft when it came new. Here we have the wiper control. It's not like on our car with a rain sensor. We only have windshield wiper selection of low and high. Position lights are here. We have the normal navigational lights, red anti-collision lights, strobe lights, and also the wing lights to light up the wings in case of icing conditions, or many US operators use it prior departure for better appearance during night. Here we have the window heat system, and the side windows are heated and the front windows as well. And it's not common that the window heat fails, but it's during warm days around the Mediterranean. We can see overheat on the window, and then we have to reset the system. But that's not very common in Iceland, at least. Here we have another HF. We have a panel here that shows all the cabin calls. We can see from which section of the aircraft the cabin staff is calling from, forward, mid and aft. In case we need to get everybody on their headset, we post alert call to get everybody's full attention. Ground call, we used to call the mechanic downstairs in case of or the ground crew to inform them about anything or service we require at the moment. Flight interphone is just used for ground communication and with cabin crew. Here we can see if we have a cell call on VHF left or right, cell call on HF left or right, or ACUS that is connected to the center VHF. Here we have equipment cooling fan, and here we have control of passenger signs, no smoking signs, and seatbelt sign. It's selected to auto in case we forget to put it on. It has happened probably for a few of us. It will automatically turn on passing 10,000 feet. Here we have cabin altitude control. We can see the outflow valve on the back of the aircraft. Is in normal position for this kind of aircraft and altitude. It's partially 25% open. There are two doors that are in this outflow valve, and it's connected to auto 1 and auto 2 in the pressure cabin altitude control system. If the automation of the cabin altitude control system fails, we can do manual, and then we can drive this outflow valve on DC power and close it and maintain cabin altitude in case of failure of 1 and 2 system. Here we put in the landing altitude on our destination airport, and this is the control. If we go to manual mode on the valve, on the outflow valve. Here we can analyze the system. We can see at which rate the cabin is climbing or descending. You can see the cabin altitude at the moment is 5,800 feet at 36,000 feet, and maximum cabin altitude is about 8,500. We have a cabin differential pressure of 8.4 psi. Here we have more lights for the panels, and the logo light on the tail, and this is the door equipment here. We can either open for guests or close, deny, so it's totally locked for a period of time. Here we have the temperature sensors. We have the cabin divided into 3 different zones. Flight deck is 23 degrees centigrade. Forward cabin is 22, and the aft cabin is 22 degrees as well. This is the temperature control unit, and it goes from 18 degrees up to 28, isn't it? This is the trimmer valve, where we mix warm and cold air into these 3 different zones. And here we have packs, left pack and right pack, that is producing air pressure to pressurize the aircraft. And here we have recirc fans for the E&E or equipment bay, where all the extra equipment for the aircraft, instruments and so forth is located. It's below the floor here, and we have 2 fan handling control of temperature in this area. Here we can read how much pressure and psi each bleed is providing, and its left and right indicator is totally equal at the moment at 30 psi. We can open between systems. Here we have it totally isolated, in normal use, and also we can use bleeder from the APU to pressurize the aircraft. Here we have the autopilot system, and here I can select the flight director for captain side, and here you can select it for the first officer side. The flying pilot is operating the autopilot, and this is the throttle arm switch. We can select certain speeds here on a Mach number. Here we have mode selection for the auto throttle mode. We have the heading display. We are now just following up on our LNAV with a heading of 228. You can also push heading hold, and then we just maintain heading 228. Vertical speed mode is possible, and if I open the window here going from VNAV path, it opens at 0, and I re-engage the VNAV path already selected in the FMC. Here we have our cruising altitude 36,000 feet and all cleared altitude by ATC. I can also stop descent or climbing by pressing altitude hold. During approach we arm this localizer or approach that is also engaging glide slope, or arming glide slope function and localizer. And we have 3 autopilots to shoot the approach. Here we have the VOR DME. It's selected on Keflavik 1120 and our departure radial to Flossie 292. So, this is an explanation of the 757 system, briefly. I could have gone into more details, but I think it's sufficient for us today. He will do it.
We are exhausted. I felt sorry for him.
So we are preparing for Kanachi approach. That is one of the approaches I like at JFK. It's always fun to do, and it's my experience. They using it in very extreme weather conditions, but at this time it's a clear sky and winds from the north only 8 knots. But we are already ready to brief the arrival route into New York, and here we have a schematic for the arrival. It's we go through to check right date and 22 Charlie, effective 11th of February 2010, New York Standard Terminal arrival. We've been cleared Part 1 arrival, and the sector altitude is minimum 2,000 since we come along the coast. And we've already been cleared to Aspen, and then we will fly to Providence, and then to Trait, and expect to cross Trait at flight level 240. Transition altitude in the States is 18,000 feet, and from there we fly to Parch, Calverton, and from there at Calverton we expect clearance to cross at 250 knots and 12,000. That have we already put it in the FMC. From there, for runway 13 left and right, we continue from Calverton to Roper via 279 track to JFK. We more or less fly into JFK, and then they give us radar vectors. It takes a lot of track miles to get around the airport south of it, and then to get Kanachi approach in the end. So basically we go 270 degrees around the airport. But it's a nice scenery during the approach of Long Island, and at this weather condition, a lot of water sport activities on the inner shore. More things we have to mention here are departure or arrival latest is 12872. We already picked up the weather via the ACAS, and we don't need any further information from here. Just to check after Roper 279 into that confirmed. From there we're gonna go to the Purpose VR Kanachi approach. It's quite common to do this in flight simulators, and both in recurrent and primary or flight training. And if we go quickly through the approach plate here, we check the number 23, that's the 3, 6th of June 2014. It's a VR approach, New York, GPS runway 13 left and right. So basically after we reach our missed approach point, Timmel, we can either land on 13 right or 13 left. But in our case, normally we land at 13 left, since we park at Terminal 7, the Speedbird terminal, and that's on the north side. So we check all the necessary information. We check the sector altitude. This is based on Kanachi VR, 1800 from the south, and we will reach a sector of 3000 for a short period of time. Departure frequency, ATIS frequency, can we see here on the left-hand side, approach frequency as well, 128.12, the Kennedy Tower. It's a different frequency for each runway, and later on ground control frequency 121.9, that we need to contact them after we have left the runway in use. And prior we enter the ramp at Speedbird ramp, Terminal 7, we also have to call them up on 129.12 to get confirmation of entrance, and our gate is clear. But I already selected the VR frequency 112.3. The inbound course from Assault to Kanachi is 43. We later changed it to 41 to Timmel, that is our missed approach point. And our minimum descent altitude is 800 feet, since it's a non-precision approach. And it's mandatory 3000 feet at Assault, and I confirmed that in FMC. Kanachi at minimum 1500 and Timmel 800. Then we have to go via the speedway, and then we have few strobe lights, and then we have the famous hotel. We have to be stabilized at 1000 feet with flaps 30 and in landing configuration, and VRAP plus 500, 5 knots, plus 5 knots on the VRAP. And in case of missed approach, after beyond missed approach point, that is not like we are used to over the runway or in the runway position or direction. We have to, after beyond missed approach, climb right turn to 4000, and then via heading 100 and Victor Airway 16, radial 078 to Deer Park, VR and hold. And we checked out that that is already in the flight management computer. So more or less, if we are not stabilized or fit for landing, we have to go on a heading 100 and proceed to Deer Park. This is not more to say about the approach. Do you have any suggestions?
No, all understood.
That's pretty much all covered. We don't have to worry about the visibility, but the required visibility for us for the Karachi approach is 2¼ miles. But that's unlimited at this time. Here we can see an abbreviation of the missed approach procedures, and also what kind of approach lights we have. We have VASI lights on both left and right hand side, and ILS is also available here on this runway, but we are not using it at this time. So, I've selected outer brakes 3. 2 is efficient, and it's a 3,100 meter long runway. The taxi charge is in pieces, but we know our way around there. So we expect to leave the runway. Best would be on a high-speed taxiway like Zulu Alpha or Delta. Continue on taxiway Bravo. They have taxiway rules at JFK. In their taxiway they go clockwise, and out their taxiways they go anti-clockwise. So I just, to ruin this taxi plate, I put it in arrows to show what kind of taxi routes we can expect. But normally we enter the speedboat ramp via Victor taxiway, and like I mentioned before, we have to contact speedboat control in forehand, 129.15. So, any questions?
No.
So that's about it for the briefing.
Boston, good day. Icelandair 613, flight level 360.
Icelandair 615, Boston Center, roger.
Boston, good day. Icelandair 613 out of flight level 360, descending to be cross straight, flight level 240.
Icelandair 613, Boston Center, roger.
Icelandair 613, contact New York approach 125.7, good day.
Front Icelandair 613, 12000, information Romeo.
Icelandair 613, plan VOR 13 left, good afternoon.
Okay, we are 13 left, Icelandair 613.
53 miles to Assault, and we are descending to 9,000, so it's quite a long distance around the airport.
1000 to level off.
Check cabin signal, lights on please.
Icelandair 613, turn right heading 270, descend and maintain 7,000.
Okay, heading 270, descend 7000, Icelandair 613.
7,000 set, heading 270.
Lows incoming or signal?
Icelandair 613, turn left heading 240.
Left heading 240, Icelandair 613.
Heading 240 set.
Correct.
Icelandair 613, turn left heading 220, contact New York approach on 128.12, bye-bye.
Okay, left heading 220 and New York approach 128.120, Icelandair 613, bye.
Heading 207.
207 heading.
Delta 1487 is 6 miles from the south, cross it at 3,000, clears VOR 13 left.
Cross the south 3000, clear to VOR 13 left, Delta 1487.
Front Icelandair 613 with you.
2428.
I got no clue what you said, Delta 2428, say again?
Yes, sir, just the heading you gave us, I was just verifying it. Was a 140 heading for us?
Yes, that's correct, and descend and maintain 13,000, altimeter 3014.
Down to 13,000, 3014, Delta 2428.
613, New York approach, flying 230.
Heading 230, Icelandair 613.
Switch 160, turn right heading 010, 8 miles from the south, cross the south 3,000, clears VOR 13 left approach.
010, cross the south 3,000.
I say 613, turn right heading 250.
Right heading 250, Icelandair 613.
Chautauqua 63,
Heading
65, turn right heading 190.
Right turn 190.
We're doing 190 now, stop 6365.
Roger, Delta 49 Heavy, contact Kennedy Tower 119.1, good day. Icelandair 613, descend and maintain 3000.
Descend and maintain 3000, versus 613.
3000 set.
Checked. Can I see viewer identified?
Jolly good.
New York approach, JetBlue 285, we're leveling 190, we have Romeo.
Icelandair 613, turn right heading 340.
Right heading 340, ISS 613.
Should talk with 6365, turn right 250, descend maintain 3000.
Reducing speed to 10 to 14.
Checked.
Icelandair 613, reduce speed to 210.
Speed 210, ISS 613.
That's run.
Right heading 010 degrees, and clear to viewer, runway 13 left, ISS 613.
LMR.
2428, turn right heading 280, descend and maintain 3000.
280 heading 3000, Delta 2428.
JetBlue 2401, flight level 190 with Romeo requesting RNAV visual 13 left. JetBlue 2401, New York approach. Good afternoon to Paul LaGuardia heading 140, vectors for the RNAV visual, runway 13 left approach. 140 off LaGuardia for RNAV visual 13 left. JetBlue 2401.
Selected.
Hey, approach JetBlue 76, 190 requesting RNAV visual 13 left.
Talk with 6365, turn right to direct assault.
Right turn direct assault, 6365.
JetBlue 76, New York approach. Good afternoon to Paul LaGuardia heading 140, vectors for the RNAV visual 13 left approach.
Depart LaGuardia on a 140 heading JetBlue 76.
3000 selected.
So 2428 has the airport. So
2428, thank you. Talk with 6365, descend and maintain 3000, you're 7 miles from the Seoul, cross salt to 3000, clear view 13 left approach.
Cross salt at 3000, clear for the VOR to 13 left, stop with 6365.
2428, reduce speed to 210.
210, Delta 2428.
JetBlue 285, descend and maintain 8000, turn right heading 200.
Right turn 200 down to 8000, JetBlue 285.
Icelandair 613, contact Kennedy Tower 119.1.
Tower 91, ISS 613.
JetBlue 1318, caution, wake everyone's line up, wait 13 right.
Line up and wait, 13 right, JetBlue 1318.
Delta 207 Heavy, you may see a helicopter, presently 11 o'clock, 10 to 11 o'clock and about 3 miles north to approach eastbound 1300.
Delta 207 Heavy, thank you.
Tower ISS 613, with you.
Delta 207, what is your airspeed now?
Delta 207 Heavy, you're doing 143, helicopter in sight.
ISS 613, do you have the heavy jet traffic ahead in sight at 1,000 feet?
Negative, ISS 613.
ISS 613, maintain visual separation on traffic, caution, make turbulence, split line 13 left.
Okay, I maintain visual and clear to land 13 left, ISS 613.
Jordane 270 Heavy, left turn heading 110, contact the power traffic, good day.
Left heading 110.
Ja, hörde, det är bättre än handen. Ja.
Heavy 76 off the right, inbound to 13 left to zero in sight.
Inside, maintain visual, he's got
Han har i benen. Så.
Get down. Landing checklist to flaps.
JetBlue 1318, runway heading.
Cabin secure after meters, read checker 3014 800.
JetBlue 1318.
The recheck.
American
Speed
3,
break.
Kennedy, line up way 13 right.
3 right, line way, American 3.
Delta 49 Heavy, right turn to Zulu Alpha and then straight ahead Bravo, and when you get a chance, let me know the entrance for your ramp. Zulu Alpha, straight ahead Bravo, and we're going to be going in Kilo
Landing gear.
Delta.
Down. Checked.
409 Heavy.
Stand by
Delta 49 Heavy, monitor the ground point 9 as you go, I'll let them know. We'll monitor ground point 9, Delta 409.
That tower stock was 6365 with you, just inside of Salt for 13 left.
Stock is 6365, San Tower 757 traffic is just
800 feet set.
Checked. Split land 13 left, wind 0206.
Clear to land, 13 left, copy the traffic, stop with 6365.
Flaps 30.
Tower Delta 2428 with the RNAV visual 13
Complete
left.
landing checklist.
2428, following Embraer about 7 miles ahead. Clear to land 13 left with
Flaps.
0206.
Clear to land 13 left, Delta 2428.
Checked.
1318.
Have a landing.
Turn left heading
Disconnecting autopilot. Disconnecting auto throttle.
110, stay with you.
Fewest feather set för gården.
Turning off flight director.
Heavy for 22 left. American 3, runway heading. I'll call the turn, clear for takeoff. Okay, runway heading, you'll call the turn, we're rolling. American 3.
Måste närta.
1318, contact departure, have a good day.
Bye-bye.
American 101, heavy, County Tower, 22 left, wind is 0206, clear to land. Clear land, 22 left, American 101 heavy. New 7, heavy jet traffic, 12 o'clock, 5 miles, 2,200 feet descending, caution mark terminal. News Cap 7, caution, wake, we have traffic set means official. Tower 54 Yankee within 1400. Delta 207 heavy, right Zulu Alpha straight ahead.
Flight
Bravo,
director,
minor,
Romeo 0.
have a good day. Zulu Alpha, Bravo, minor, 0.9, good day now. Flagship 2892, just hold true, I've got some trail between you and this departure. Hold true, flagship 2892. Tower 54 Yankee within 1400. 54 Yankee, County Tower, say request. We're headed to Republic. Shoreline below 5 or 8 miles away at 1,400, what do you want to do? We're going to stay out underneath the B, whatever's good for you. All right, if you stay 8 miles away, it's out of below 1,400 and proceed as requested. Altimeter 3014. 3014 would stay low. 5 on station.
Okay.
County Tower 99.
99.
Yes, sir, I'm on Charlie. You're approaching the 13 left for surface inspection, 180.
Okay, hold short, landing traffic.
Holding short, 13 left, 99.
American 3, call departure, have a good day.
I think.
American 3, it is. And you can turn left heading 110. Canada Tower, good afternoon, Temple 117 is with you to the left. Flagship 2892, line up await on 13 right. Line up await, 13 right. Flagship 2892. Delta 2428, able to accept the 13 right to land.
10. Yeah, we can do that, Delta 2428.
Delta 2428, make your approach to 13 right, there'll be one more departure prior to you, could land on 13 right.
Clear to land 13 right, Delta 2428.
Somebody else hold. Temple 117, good afternoon, with you for 22 left. Temple 117, continue inbound for, actually, Temple 117, clear to land 22 left, heavy jet traffic, short final, coach Mike Terminal. Clear to land 2 to left for Temple 117. Flagship 2892, runway 13 right.
Zulu Alpha, straight to the right.
13 right, clear for takeoff, flagship 2892. I said 613, right, Yankee Alpha, straight ahead Bravo, monitor the ground. Have a good day.
Bravo, I'm on the ground. I share 6 heading, good day.